the EU community. They have their own tournaments with their own groups and everything like that. You do see like intermixing and intermingling of that group as well. It seems like, oh, a French player doesn't have a teammate. It seems like they specifically are looking for another French player.
So in this matchup in particular, what I'm curious to see is how Hazer Delta performs compared to the 3 other players on the screen. When I look at Vipr and Fozey, I think that they've got some very clear, legend-specific team combos in mind. But when I look at Macheeete and Hazer Delta, in the matchups that they struggled with, Hazer Delta was the one being focused down, where Macheeete had to really pull it in the 1v2s and in the 1v1s. So let's see if that's a weakness going into this, or if it ended up just being like a team matchup-specific thing. Because so far, Hazer Delta's doing pretty well. Macheeete and Vipr scuffling on the right side of the stage. Nobody's really taken a stock yet in this game, or has taken a huge damage lead.
Yeah, certainly Hazer Delta is like the kind of outlier, quote unquote outlier here when you look at like the name recognition of Vipr and Fozey and Macheeete from the past and currently running.
Oh, so Vipr shoots the wrong way.
He's holding his own
that
so
sucks.
far. Vipr was the first one to fall. Macheeete's still in pretty good damage so far. That recovery won't take out. The desync will take out. Macheeete's still the only one on the very first stock.
It is so sick when we see the hammer down air into the corner of any stage, spiking them off the bottom and getting that knockout. Macheeete still holding on, getting a lot of neutralites and downlights through. Fozey can't get that recovery up the top. Vipr now fighting against Hazer Delta on the right side of the stage, but he gets knocked towards Macheeete. Macheeete can't get the team combo, and that guitar nair is almost enough to send Macheeete off half the stage.
Still living.
Oh, and he gets a stock. He gets a stock off this stock as well. Macheeete just unkillable. Okay, well,
not anymore, but still,
not anymore.
Lived a very
he did his job.
time. And you compare that to the other team. Vipr was the one living before, and he's the one on his final stock now. Hazer Delta is going to meet him there, but still, like, going on pace with Vipr, good spot for Hazer Delta to be in. It is dead even between these two teams.
Oh, and Fozey getting another side stick on Macheeete. The ground pound hits the recovery. Macheeete doesn't get hit with the double ground pound. He saved all of his jumps despite the stuff recovery effects. He still had plenty of tools to make it back. Hazer Delta has the hammers, trying to side her away. Fozey now super damaged, but Macheeete goes off stage. Yeah, anytime we see a ground pound like that, I have the same feeling too. What you just like audibly said, it's like, all right, what are you doing?
Because that like wasn't a beautiful guaranteed follow-up like we saw him follow up with the recovery to get the KO off the top earlier. He was just like, hey, you know, they might go to the wall, so you know what? I'm going to go to the wall.
Oh, side stick for Fozey doesn't hit. Bow down air also doesn't hit. Macheeete still living.
Ooh, it's got Fozey in the red. You saw it when he hit that weapon toss. Great hit from Hazer. That's going to take out Fozey. Put him on his final stock. The D-light from Vipr isn't able to turn it into anything.
Yeah, that's the weirdest place to gravity cancel downlight somebody, because the third blast doesn't even kind of bounce them into the wall, so you don't really have any follow-up on that. And Vipr neutralizes the entire screen. And now, Hazer Delta trying to get that ground pound, gets him with a side air. Fozey really wants to get this knockout. If they can get Hazer Delta down, that's the difference that I'm talking about, right? Macheeete playing out of his mind this game, but guess what? He's in a 1v2. And now, even though he's got a damage advantage, this is the situation I was worried about. Hazer Delta down way before Macheeete was even onto 2 stocks, and now they're in a 1v2. Let's see if he can do it. Macheete's won these 1v2s before. And it was during this tournament in particular, but man, Fozey and Vipr, they've got such a great 2v1 dynamic.
So Hazer definitely was the first person completely out of this game, like you said, but he wasn't too far behind Vipr and Fozey, even though he was a little bit more farther behind Macheeete. So still, he didn't go out super early. It's not like everyone was on 2 stocks. Nice. That was sort of a right to left combo instead of the just back and forth where both members of the blue team are sort of sandwiched around the member of the red team. I know Photo loves those combos.
Yeah, it's the best that they could do in that situation since they didn't have Macheeete set up for those infinites. Macheeete getting hit by a sider, weapon toss comes in, Fozey tries to punish him jumping, but he just stays on the ground, and Macheete's got a good chance here. Recovery hits, one more of those, and he can't do it, but the next side air, catching anybody.
Weak hit, and then Fozey picks up the recovery for the KO off the top. He was doing good damage. That was definitely getting close to an extremely winnable situation.
So I want to talk about the point that you made about Hazer Delta, which I guess I did blow out of proportion a little bit. You're right. Hazer Delta was in a situation where if it had been Fozey or Vipr, the game would have been completely flip-flopped, right? It was just a matter of like who on which team that had one stock left went down first. And in that situation, it happened to be Hazer Delta. Let's see if that trend continues. Macheeete did a great job surviving. We were seeing the damage taken, 649. He basically had an extra stock in there with how long he was living. But game one does go over to Fozey and Vipr.
Yeah, that's like 200, and I don't have my calculator ready, so that's like, let's just say it's 213, maybe 216. It's 216 damage average per stock that it took to knock out Macheeete. Incredible work, incredible survivability.
Oh, and we're on the dome again. So here we go for game number 2. Fozey and Macheeete have a lead. Macheeete really going in there with the axe, and now we're seeing Hazer Delta opening up the axe himself. the simultaneous axe neutral there. Hazer's working out a little bit better than Macheete's, but a great job. They have been really hurting Vipr at the beginning of each of these games so far, and that sidelight nair puts on even more damage as Fozey and Vipr are really struggling to find their footing in game 2.
Now we are back on the dome. Vipr, again, taking a lot of damage this game. He's just kind of stuck over on the right wall. Macheeete seems like he wants to go back and forth. Pulls himself away from that. You know, he was just jamming on that left either keyboard or D-pad or joystick input.
Well, what would have been terrifying is that if Fozey did the same thing, he would have just rode with him. Oh, dive kick comes through, recovery to the stage. Macheeete, can he make it back? Of course he can. He has the lance, and Fozey ends up going down trying to get that early knockout on the Macheeete, and now they are down as it's going to be
okay, Hazer, what are you doing, brother? You're really going in on this one.
But I mean, he can. It's 6 stocks to 4. And if he got that there, that would have been 6 stocks to 3. Nicely done with the side stick. Gets that perfect spike angle on Macheeete. Will Hazer follow afterwards? Of course he will. That's like the 2 perfect scenarios for Zario's signatures, right? Side stick spikes him off the right. Neutral stick spikes him off the right. And there they go. 4 stocks to 4. But Vipr's so damaged.
Sidelight nair coming out from Macheeete, doing that true combo, picking up both of those. Just has to worry about the speed of the input and nothing else. Only has to worry about himself. Not trying to read some goofy dodge or anything like that. No playing mind games whatsoever. The GC stomp into the side air from Hazer Delta is actually going to miss after he picked up the stomp. Red team's still in the lead here. Vipr, the one most damaged. Recovery's going to KO off the top. Not going to be the weak hit this time like we saw at the end of last game from Macheeete. So definitely picked that one up at the right place, right time.
Vipr was at least able to get a good 60 to 70 damage in before he lost that stock to the axe recovery, and Fozey got the revenge knockout on the other side, and we're in a very similar scenario, Sparky. I'm looking at Hazer Delta. He's taking a ton of damage, and Fozey trying to get that recovery, that sidelight, gravity cancel sidelight at the top.
Yeah, but
Hazer Delta's got to be careful.
Look at where Vipr is. He's not too less damaged. I don't know how to say that properly. Hazer Delta is really close to where Vipr is in terms of damage.
Yes.
Certainly comparable.
Let's just see who goes down first. Recovery hits. Fozey's getting him through. Macheeete fighting Vipr up the side of the stage, but Vipr perfectly capable of covering his head with nairs. As that downlight is just one downlight away from taking Fozey off the top there. Neutral light clashes, so Fozey doesn't go down. He gets a nice punish onto the nair from there, and there goes Hazer Delta off the top from the bow recovery. It's 3 stocks to 1, and Macheeete sends Fozey flying. But he still has to do a few more hits before Vipr is going to be able to go down, and Vipr covers that new weapon spawn with the recovery, and Macheeete is just trying to dodge out of harm's way.
Vipr's just running. He's straight up running to the other side of the screen. He's spending a lot of time on the wall to just avoid that damage, and I think that's part of where this game really started to slip away, despite being so even. The ground pound there, hoping to completely stop the recovery. The second one hitting as well. Unfortunately for Macheeete fans, none of them were off stage. Could have actually led to the KO. They're going to continue this, and the dunk is actually really going to kind of be a dunk to the left because it bounces off that sort of like Zario energy created platform, which is actually like really, that's brutal. Like a dunk is one thing, but that's brutal.
It is brutal. I mean, I watched Fozey spike somebody off the bottom. Like, if he went for the spike underneath Shipwreck Falls, he bounces him into the bottom of Shipwreck Falls and then actually gets the dunk. Right? So he has been creative with that signature throughout the tournament. But man, you're right. Vipr utilizing the movement speed stat on Lucian for sure on the right side of the stage. We even see him touch that wall and manage his wall slip really well. And he was doing that in the earlier matchups on stream as well. Whenever Vipr gets a little bit of a deficit, it's deceptive because he makes his opponents think that he's vulnerable, but he's really not. And he's just jumping around at red damage down a stage stock, getting 60 to 70 damage at a time with a guitar string, and the next thing you know is 3 stocks to 1, and you lost the game. Vipr doing really well with it, and now they're going to some place where Vipr can't play on the side of the stage as much as he has been doing on Miami Dome, as we are at match point here. Fozey and Vipr are 1 game away from taking it 2-0 over Hazer, Delta, and Macheeete, or 3-0.
We are seeing this Ulgrim-Taros combo, hoping they can fight back in this one. Hazer is definitely swinging hard, hitting a lot of members here of the blue team, doing a lot of good damage early on in this game. We'll see if he can keep that up. Maybe he can sort of break that curse of being knocked out the first from every time. He is going to take that recovery, but he's able to still get back to the main platform. He is like the least damage in this game, so it's definitely, again, a good start for the red team, and specifically Hazer Delta.
Oh man, Macheeete juggling around with the nairs. Hazer Delta gets the neutral lane of Vipr, but no, the cider from Macheeete doesn't connect. The nair from Macheeete also doesn't hit either Fozey or Vipr. Some friendly fire there, but Vipr gets the recovery that cuts through both enemies on the red team. That neutral sync from Fozey came so close, but doesn't quite hit. And the side sync, oh yes, I love those combos. Viper's always there, ready to get the neutral sync off of anything that Fozey gets. What?
That's safe.
The weapon throw?
Yeah.
The weapon throw hit him out of the neutral sync?
I think the weapon toss hit him before the neutral signature hit him, but he would have gotten hit by the neutral signature if that weapon toss didn't hit him.
Too bad.
So definitely a save there, unfortunately for the blue team.
But fortunate for the red team, and now they've got a stock lead, albeit barely. Hazer Delta doing a good job surviving so far, but Viper's just, with that cider and nair, is doing a ton of hurt onto Macheeete. Oh, that sizing hits, and he goes for the neutral light, tries to turn it all the way around. No team combo potential there.
Vipr is throwing out way too many neutral lights for a 2 versus 2 player when there is the possibility of 3 other people on the screen that might hit you.
Macheete's just deleted. Double silent recovery. Fozey takes him at the top. The Gala player dream, and now it's 4 stocks to 3. And Macheeete, who's typically been the stock tank of the red team, is now down to 1. And Hazer Delta's still getting shot up by Vipr. Sidelight and Decider for the Blasters, playing on the side of the stage as if it's Mammoth Fortress, it feels like. Vipr just uncontested. Until then, Cider hits through, and Hazer Delta does a good job of evening things up.
Oh, Hazer wants the downlight. He's missed 2 off of a punishment on Fozey. The side heavy is going to send Hazer Delta all the way to the right side of the screen. Red team split. Vipr chasing high, hoping to take out Macheeete really early. Completely remove him from this possible final game. This is in the loser's bracket, so a loss here for Hazer Delta and Macheeete means they're gone. Hazer on his final stock. Fozey might meet him soon, but man, Macheeete is done.
He's gone.
Out of the game. The one time Hazer Delta was doing so much better in terms of survivability, it's almost meaningless because Fozey and Vipr are likely going to run this 1v2 situation. Fozey still on second stock. Vipr healthy.
Yeah. Oh, weapon throw hits. Fozey gets him with the ground pound. Okay. Hazer Delta gets that ground pound through. Sidelight. There he goes. I respect it, right? If he gets the spike hitbox at that down in the corner, like the bottom left corner.
He's Taros.
He could have had that. Oh, but the weapon throw comes through. Fozey gets back to the stage. Cider hits, and that's going to be it. Gravity cancel neutral sync just to delay the inevitable. Fozey and Vipr win 3-0 over Hazer Delta and Macheeete.
This is Fozey and Vipr taking out 3 teammates of TMs. First, he took out TM Swada. Then he took out Hazer Delta and Macheeete at the same time. Incredible work from Fozey and Vipr. I mean, everybody at home is seeing like why Simple and Heisen were specifically talking about this team as a potential top 3 candidate.
Well, and it just looks so good, and not to mention that not only have they developed this specific team synergy that's between them, they've done it with characters that people have never seen this combination before outside of playing them directly, right? Like, when it comes to Zazario Lucian, they're bringing out technology that's basically a first for competitive play, and they're doing